I was thinking about this timer thing that's in the front. At least if you saw a recorded video of it, you would at least know how far to skip forward to get right to it. Oh my. Okay, we're going to talk about how I test my golf clubs. I got a couple of putters here and the differences between the two we want to talk about, and some golf ball testing again. All next on What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Welcome to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Jim McCleary here, 7-time America's Best Club Fitters with Golf Digest. And it's about what's in my drawers in the golf shop over there. Okay. Why? Because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and I'm no different. And you know what? I was just looking the other day as I was reaching in to get stuff, and one of my cabinets that I've been faithfully trying not to fill up filled up. I got to figure this one out. Anyway, so as we get to the tournaments, of course, Pebble Beach got shortened because of all the wonderful weather they're having. 54-hole tournament, and Wyndham Clark is the winner. Good for him. Did pretty good. Shot very, very well. Not too bad. And here at the shop, we did quite a bit. We made a handful of sets, did some repairs, did some fittings, of which we're going to talk about one, and made a couple of ribs. Made some ribs, and I've got not the first picture of any of it. So you're just going to have to take me on that one, or trust me on that one. And in order to do that, my rec tech that I normally cook on, the wireless piece, didn't want to connect to my internet after we changed out a few parts and pieces, and they just sent me another one. I just got it in a minute ago, so that'll be a new excursion into the depths of grillery. We'll see what that's all about. All righty, so first we'll talk about the fittings. So I fit a 13-year-old girl, and being as how she's under 16 or 18, I can't show any pictures without consent, and I didn't ask, so I'm not gonna. But it was amazing that, just to kind of give you an idea, 13-year-old girl, very pleasant demeanor, and is big around as a golf shaft. Just teeny weeny little thing. And uh, I said, okay, let's hit, because they said that she did very, very well. She's from Kentucky, and Kentucky has a different way of measuring how you can qualify for the state championship. And as one can imagine, there's not a lot of competition in the girls section of it. And as a 13-year-old, she qualified to go to the districts. So apparently she's got some game. Now, I've seen other ones. If you can shoot in the high 80s, you can play, right? And that's what she did as a 13-year-old. So that's really saying something. And they came in for a full fitting, but then they decided they didn't want to do the putter, and they were going to kind of just quasi fit the driver. And I'm like, all right. And I said, well, where's most of your strokes lost at? And they said, well, in the putter. I'm like, well, then why aren't we fitting the putter? Well, I guess we should. Okay. So this is what we get around with moms and dads, right? And so we started fitting, and the putter was completely 100% fighting her stroke. She had very much a screen door for a girl that, for a girl, for somebody that's this young with all that's going out there. She had a very old soul putting method. Started with the face open, brought it back, and closed it. I mean, that's like Sam Snead, right? That kind of age. And I was like, wow, I haven't seen this one in a while. And they said, what do you mean? And I immediately handed her a putter that would allow the swing, because it was a very nice putter. It was a girl's Spider that was in a lady's set. It was a very nice putter. It was just not the right style for her. Okay. Not the right style for her. And I gave her one that would swing. And the minute I gave her that one, and I had it bent, and she was very flat too, because she pushed her hands down, because she's very, very thin. And she just hit this screen door, and all of a sudden it was like the putt was the size of a watermelon and just couldn't miss. And it was just so, it is quite important to make sure that your putter matches, marries up to you, right? Marries up to your stroke. And that there's all kinds of things that come into play, length, lie, even the loft, depending on if you press or if you don't, that kind of stuff. And then how you aim it. How do you see this? And the other thing we came across is, like most new golfers, they have no idea of their inconsistencies. So she would start the putt at the front foot, at the back foot, front foot, middle, front foot, back foot. It was all over the map. And I said, you got to stop that. Middle of the stance, putt it. And every time we went back to that, nails it, right? And I'd let her go, and about 4 or 5 putts into it, it starts shifting again. Back to the middle. Bam, there we go. And it was the same kind of thing on the full swing. We got her into the wedges, or got her into the irons, and she had this deep inside takeaway, but when she swung through, the first couple of swings were pushes, and she just wasn't getting the club close because diving too deep to the inside. And I said, okay, so she was a softballer, and I said, okay, softballer, let's just say I want you to punch it over the pitcher's head and go that way with it. That's all you have to do. Pitcher's head, pitcher's head, pitcher's head. And she took it right on. Wham, 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 wham. Quality of hit went up exponentially. The flight went perfectly down the middle, and little draws and fades, that kind of thing, and just did it. So a little bit of technique. Now, again, 13, still growing, muscles are still getting bigger, and technique is still evolving, that kind of thing. And weight plays a huge amount into this. I can't tell you how many times I've seen moms and dads go and get like ladies sets and men's set and just try and cut them down. And that is detrimental unless the golfer is physically capable of doing that. And when you're in your 11, 12, 13, quite possibly 14-year-old era, it's really hard to do that. And you say, well, you just put in a lighter shaft. No, because those heads are heavy. And even go, well, I got a ladies club. Well, I'm here to tell you, the ladies club, the ladies club is the same head, just painted differently. Okay. It is very, very rare to find a ladies club that is actually lighter. So I did find one. I happen to have the Smoke. They have the Smoke HL Fast Max. The Fast Max is literally a lighter club head than the HL, and it was night and day difference. The quality of the hit went up, the speed went up ever so slightly, wasn't a huge amount, but instead of hitting the 7-iron 110, now they're hitting the 7-iron 120. That's a big deal, right? And so now I know what I'm looking for. Mizuno makes an A head weight. I said, we can go there if you want, and these different paths, but we always kept coming back to the HL Fast Max. So that's what we settled on. Went to a wedge and went to a very, very, I never saw, well, I just got my wedges in, so that's part of the story, but a 60-gram wedge shaft. And I'm like, what is that? And it was on the CBs. And she took that thing and she said her wedge game is terrible. And we got her hitting this thing because it wasn't heavy. She was able to control it. It was a little flatter. And next you know, she's popping these things in the air. And I'm like, well, so that's a win-win. So we're right there. So weight, right? Even built to the capacity for the golfer, regardless of a girl or a guy. But the physical dimensions do play into it, but the physical strengths, the capabilities also play into it, particularly when they're in that tweener range, which is that 11 to 14 range. So you guys want to keep that in mind. All righty. So what I was going to tell you about putters. This is coming up, but what we have is my stock of Odyssey AI ones came in, and they've been floating in a little bit by a little bit by a little bit. And I wanted to tell you about the differences, not how good and bad are in between, just the differences, because there'll be a video coming later. All righty. So what we have here is the AI. Okay. This is the AI. We'll call this the AI standard. I don't think what they call it. Let me see. Putt one. Call it the A1. All right. So it's a Model 7, as you can tell. It's a good look. I like the blue color. I like the blue color a little bit better. It's got the white the white hot face like everybody would, that everybody's used to. And it's got a different shaft. It's a Stroke Lab shaft, but the graphite piece is now gone. It's all steel. And this right up in here is noticeably thicker. Okay, noticeably thicker, such that they're going for that zero torque capability, but and it's a 90 gram. Okay, so it's not going to be super heavy, but very low torque. All right, and it also comes with the mid pistols. That's just what I ended up getting with them. Now, notice how this is blue. That's a key. So we got this. Now, so what's happening here is behind the face, where you see the square, is where the magic happens. And what's behind here is what allows you to hit into here without, if you miss, if this is the best part of the club, if you hit here or here, you're not going to lose a lot of distance. We've seen that in the past with other putter makers, and they do it with, there's a piece. See that right there in the middle? See all that's going on in there? They give you a window to show you it's really there. And what that is, and it's different between this one and the other model. They show you it's like a metal backing to it. And if you look, I don't know if you can get in there close enough, but there are grooves. I like to be able to show you, but there are grooves in here. So it's a rougher face, actually quite nice. I've not hit one yet because I just got them in. So all right, that's the one model. Now there's another model, and it is let's just call it the white hot model and the milled model. Okay, this is the milled model. As you can tell, it's milled, right? This is a copper piece. There's a copper piece, and you can see the milling marks on that one. All right. Now, if we look in here somewhere in here, I think right back in here, there it is. There's the slot, so you can see back in the here. There's I got a plastic piece on here. So once I remove that, there's a window right here so you can see into it. Now, this has square weights in it, where this one has round weights in it. So they're not going to be interchangeable, and I don't think they're made to be honest with you. All right. Now, this one too comes with the same shaft and the same grip, except for, if you notice, the coloring is different. This one's the Odyssey logo is different, and that's different. It is a black or navy blue and gold to match that or we'll call it even copper to match that, where the other one is a blue and a silver or a white to match the other one. Now, why am I showing you this? Now, this face is actually quite coarse to grab the face. And the piece that backs this one is different. It's a different face because of the different front on this. But the result is the same. Now, again, why am I telling you all this? Because you will not find this particular model of putter, right? This is called the 6T A1 mallet. All right. And if you look, it is a mallet putter. All right. It's a mallet putter. This is one of their popular ones from a milled standpoint. Very thin flange on the back. Right. If you see that, very thin flange on the back. It's not a rosy, but it's a milled version of that. Where the 7 is, we've all seen the 7, right? And so this kind of model with this setup won't be found in the milled. Now there is another model 7, maybe with an S neck or a Z neck or whatever you want to call it, or there would be something different about it that can be found in the white model and vice versa. Now, the only two that I believe that might even be close will be the number ones, and that's their bladed Anzer model. So when you go out there looking, and they're different costs, okay? One is, I'm not even sure what the difference is. I think it's like $80 difference. So maybe even more. So don't quote me on that one, but that's where we're at. So the white one is their standard pricing, where the copper one is that milled. And as we all know, milled putters tend to cost more. Okay. That's where we're at with that one. I just want to let you go out there. So if you guys are out there hunting a putter and you wanted to see what was going on, that's where you're at. Okay. like I said, I've not hit one, although I did sell one. I sold one to that 13-year-old, and it was a Rosie with a Z-neck on it. So she had a really, really long sight line. Very, I bent it so it was a little flatter, and just making putts like crazy. So that's a win-win right there. That's good. Calumet. Buddy of mine gave it to me. So I said, all right, we'll try it. All right. So that's where we're at with that one. So next, and then we start talking about other stuff, is how do I test these clubs, or how do I test golf equipment, right? Because it was so in the last, 3 weeks or so, we've been doing nothing but irons. Nothing but irons. I wanted to get my iron swing together. And then next will be woods and fairways or hybrids and or fairways, as the case may be. The testing process is going to be the same, but I want to get the best out of the particular golf club so that you don't get some, "Hey, I hit this thing 180 yards. Well, my swing was just a big pile of garbage that day." And it's just not fair to the golf club. But there are certain things that the process that we do is about the same. And so I'm going to put this on here. We're going to talk through it. And I'm going to stop it in several different stages. So what we got here, what you see here is the length, right? Length matters. Yes, I know length matters. Length matters in that you want to be consistent. You want to see, I am checking the spec against the OEM to make sure that they're doing what they're saying, right? That's what we want. Is it the right length? Is it doing something? Because, and we also check them. We check your gear when you come down because it could be just a specification that is incorrect, and that's what's causing you your issues, right? So we look at each one of these lengths, we record them in order to make sure, and we're measuring them against the data or the spec that's found on the internet site or whatever the manufacturer may send me. Now, this is super old school, but swing weight, and it's vitally important. Now, I will say, swing weight is something that is starting to not be found on some of these websites. If you particularly the Oriental websites, you don't see swing weight anymore. In some cases, you'll see steel is one weight, and then the graphite is something lower, and it should be, but you don't see it a lot anymore. And so but I weigh it out because we know that with shafts at certain lengths, certain weights, with heads at certain weights themselves, that we can find a particular kind of swing weight, and we know what they're searching for, right? And then we go on to frequency. Frequency is flex. Pardon me. Now, I had a really good conversation with the Acra people this weekend, and we talked about flex and how we find flex. And them, like very many other shaft manufacturers, really, I mean, they do look at frequency. Don't get me wrong. They look at frequency, but it's not the end all die all for a golf shaft. Profile plays a lot. It plays a lot into the way that a golf shaft is made. So, for instance, and we talked about it at length. So, for instance, this golf shaft right here has a different profile than this golf shaft right here. Great. So, if one is, and they're both stiff. So, if one is stiff and the other one is stiff also, but they have different profiles, I can have a widely different frequency that you're going to find here. And so if you know that going in, then what you're doing is you're taking these frequencies and building a consistent set, not necessarily trying to make all the frequencies, at 240, right? Everything doesn't have to be 240 because of the profile of that particular shaft. Now, this one is measuring loft and lie. It's going to be kind of hard to see because it's a lefty club. It would have been a better display if I showed you a righty club, but this one is important because you will find these specs out there readily, and you don't want somebody. I've literally come across where I have found drivers with or with lie angles that are higher than wedges. Okay. And you'll see that a lot when you have draw bias clubs that lie angle would be up quite a bit, and that can be distracting. And that means your toes way up in the air when you go to get to it, when you address the ball, and it can be very, very distracting. Also, I've also seen where the loft angles have been off. Now, when I measure loft angles, I normally give them a tolerance of 2 degrees one way or to another. And the reason why I do that is, oh, look at this. The reason why we do that is because the manufacturing tolerances are like that. Now, if you wanted, you could. The better golf club makers are going to be within 1. All right, that's just the long and the short of it. They're within 1. The other ones, you're an average club manufacturer if you're hanging out around 2. And why? Well, because a lot of these, like irons, the irons are 4 degrees difference. And if you're plus or minus on 2 clubs, you could literally have 2 irons in your bag that are the same, and nobody would have checked it because you bought one off the rack. All right. Then that's just how, I mean, that's a real possibility, unfortunately. So if you're in the better club makers, club manufacturers, and it's plus or minus 1, then the deviation is a lot wider, and you may not notice it until somebody measures it. All right, so that's what we do. Now, once we get all that, now where the big dog gets to eat a little bit. And this is me swinging one of the irons. And I'm starting to find my swing again. I'm starting to figure out where it needs to go. And then we use the flight scope, the X3. You see it right up here in the top. The flight scope is a radar-based launch monitor. And when I put the little dots on it, because you see the other guys on YouTube, they're all using Foresight. And honestly, is it as good? I can't tell you for certain, only because I've never used one. What really makes the difference is the graphics, right? I'll give hands down, the graphics on the Foresight is really cool. It keeps the golfer in tune because you're flying with the ball, not just watching the flight. And they do have some fun stuff. They have like a little carnival game where you for your kids where you can hit wedges and pop balloons and stuff like that. Went way just super duper cool, right? So then once we've hit them all, it's a matter of taking a look. Now, did I hit a couple that were just plain and simply, like I've told you guys before, false highs and false lows? And what I'll do is I'll go through those, and if they're just these crazy nuked up shots, those disappear. And if they're like I hit like a foot behind the ball, those go away too. And then that way you have a much more reliable representation of what the club is going to do. And that's what we do up here. We take a look at them and we're actually measuring them out. And then once we get that, we start comparing again. We go, okay, I've hit all these clubs. And then the last bit is, well, where does it go? Where do they land? How are they doing what they're supposed to be doing? And there you go. So far I've hit this club, I've hit that club, and let's see what else. Oh, I hit that one. That's a different one, a different Mizuno, although it doesn't look like it, but it is. And I just hit that one yesterday. So you can go through a whole bunch of different ones of these clubs, and there's the blade. I like how it looks gold, but it's not. And there's another 3, and those are coming. Okay, those are coming. And then that's me talking about it at the end. Okay, so that's kind of the process. So instead of well, you get a lot out there. There's a lot of guys that do, and they're very entertaining and they're very good golfers, and they grab these clubs. And what it really comes down to, and Peter Finch did it, and I think he's a little more consistent. But so what he's done is he's taken all the same shaft that he knows that he can play, and he's put different tips on them. So the different clubs that come in, that he's eliminated the shaft. Now, that's not a bad idea. It really isn't a bad idea. However, sometimes the way that weightings go in heads, the depth of the insertion, although they're almost universally the same anymore, the depth of the insertion, the way the club is supposed to work, you may find yourself with a combination that isn't that great. Hence the idea of the fitting. Okay, so, but it's as close as you're going to get for right then. Now, do you suppose this guy's measured these golf club heads, or Do they know the technologies? That's the last bit. I go and I research the technologies. What are they doing, and how's that going to affect you as the golfer when you come into the shop and I watch you swing and have a certain tendency? And how do we put that how do we put that technology to work for you? And that's what we should be saying in there. Okay, so there it is. That's putting us out there. So let's go start talking to the folks. All right. Michael Moody. Ooh, look at that. He got one. He got the golf ball glass. Good job, Michael. Got a little Titleist action going on there. Well done, sir. Salute. Very nice. I like that. A very good one. Jim Anderson, how are you, sir? Thank you for staying up so late. Have a good show. We'll catch up tomorrow, unfortunately, but a bit under the weather. Well, sir, you take care of it. A good night's sleep is always the best remedy in my case. Hi, guys. Shot a 74 around last week. It was nice this weekend, wasn't it? Yesterday was just superb. I mean, it was, from being in the 20s and the 30s, and all of a sudden we're jumping nearly 60 degrees. That was like a heat wave. And today it was super nice getting out of here. And it's supposed to be into the 60s to about Thursday, and then rain. And then after the rain comes, the temperatures are supposed to drop back into the 20s. So welcome to Ohio. We're going to kill the trees and then let them grow back. All righty. So anyway, he shot a 74. Question, what's the best way to get off old spikes? I'm at a basketball with my daughter, so I will listen later. Well, the best way that I found is I normally would have one with me. They have a spike removal tool that sometimes you have to buy them. Sometimes they come with a set of spikes. And what they do in the case, the one I've got, it's got a pretty decent handle on it. And in the handle, it's got an additional tool adapter. So it has two tool adapters, one with a prong and the other one with like a star setting. And what I like to do first is try and get the star setting. What that star setting does is it gets in between the spikes. Normally there's like 5 or 6 spikes. It gets in between there and it latches onto the spikes so that you can turn them. If that doesn't work because the spikes are all gone, and that's happened quite a bit, is that inside the circle of that spike, there's 2 indentations. And what you do is the 2 indentations, what is this? I got a yellow one. The 2 indentations will accept those prongs, and they'll accept those prongs, and that's what allow you to grab it. Now, what I've had to do a lot of times in the past is you've got to really push down. You're going to be mashing that shoe and then order to break it, because normally these things are about a quarter turn and they're out nowadays. Another case is you want to check and make sure you don't have a lot of dirt compacted underneath of it, and you'll see it because it's real wavy underneath the spike, and you might have to take a pick or an awl or something small that you can get underneath there and try and pick it out, because what it's doing, it's pressing against that and it's causing a friction that prevents you from actually overriding it, and it's getting stuck. So hopefully that helps. All righty. Michael Moody, good luck to Jim to win that Q10. We are both in it after hitting last Saturday. I found an upgrade from my stealth. Looks almost as permissive as the ping form. Oh, okay. Yeah, so what Michael's telling us about is that on My Golf Spy, they are looking for testers of the Q10 from TaylorMade. And I said, well, it's been a while. I haven't put in for it. And I thought, everybody's talking big about this driver. If it's a chance I can get one in the bag, I said, it literally would be the very first TaylorMade item in my bag. So let's see how that works out. Manuel, what do you say, sir? Good evening, Jim and Robin, gearheads out there. Matt, I place the shoes in an aluminum baking pan just in hot water to reach the base of the spikes. Let it soak for about 30. Now, you know what? That's a heck of an idea, too. Get them nice and soft so they'll let go. That's not too bad. Yep, we saw that part of it. Then use the gripper wrench, not the two-prong, to remove it. Clean out the housing and put WD-40 before putting on new spikes. I like the cleaning out part too, man. I forgot to mention that. Manuel's golfing on Wednesday. Good for you. Hopefully you take all their money. Charlie, how are you, sir? Glad to see you. I had a submarine thing to tell you, and I just completely lost it. Saw something about it was China, and then there was submarines, and it was an article is what it was. I was going to send you to it, but I totally forgot. So that's my bus, getting old. Peter, what do you say, sir? He's in Myrtle Beach. Played golf on Saturday, 55, sunny but windy. Shot a 79 in cold and windy conditions. There you go, man. Good job for you. Best way to get all spikes is carefully. No doubt, right? Hi, Peter. Hope not as windy as Pebble Beach. No kidding. Was that awful out there or what? I saw some, you get to see the news pictures and, with the water just completely cascading over streets. Can you imagine what it would be? Because normally when you see that, there's easily, what, 15 to 30 feet between the golf course and the beach, or the golf course and the rocks easily. If it got up that high, I'd be running for my life, because that means something bad's coming. But the wind and the rain, and so hopefully it didn't do anything to that tree on 18. And telling Matt he did good, and he's saying thanks. Good round, Peter, staying under 80, but got up and down a lot. I've seen that. Peter said they had between 15 and 20 mile an hour winds. Now that's called playing the wind, Peter. Good job. Managed a 39 on the front, 43 on the back, high of 39 degrees. Woo! Wow, dude. 39. You are now officially my hero. There's no way I would have went out. And Michael's saying the Wilson staffs are looking good. Dude, you know what they do? I will say it, the CBs, we'll call them the CBs, play way better than they should. I guess that bad or good, I'm not sure. They play way better than they should. And with a little bit of loft jacking, as long as you're not a massive divot taker, they're a playable club. Now you can't be, if you're a guy that can't get the club closed, you're probably not going to like them. But if you're a person that normally hits a pretty decent ball, these things will go, and they feel good. They really, really do. They feel really, really good, and they go right. And that new Dynaforged, I'm surprised we haven't seen more reviews on that thing. I'm kind of disappointed. Where's the other ones at? Because that Dynaforged is a real golf club. I wasn't much of a fan of the D9 forged. I mean, I hit it good, but something about it just seemed heavy. This one seemed a little bit easier to go. I mean, like I said earlier, I thought it was a little thinner in the sole. Maybe I just hit a mark that allowed me to hit it, but I really, really, really liked it. And speaking of old ones, if Mrs. McGolf, if you're listening, would you bring that club I was working on? You were taking pictures, and then just bring another old one for a comparison. All righty, car thermometer showed 27. Wow, dude, you gotta have just. I got a golf fever to do that. At 27, I'm turning back around. I'm not even at 27. I'm just closing the door and coming back in the house. Now, I played in 34-degree temperatures down in North Carolina, and that's cold down there, bud. And windy, blowing. Holy smokes. There's Mr. J. Here we go. Thank you so very much. Jay, look at here. Jay, 75, 73 at String Songs. At String Song. Stream Song, which is a very difficult course. Jay Kaufman. Yep. The shafts are working good. Nice, Jay. Thank you so very much. So, I wanted to show you, this is going to be a video. What do you think? So, remember those Wilsons I was showing you about that we had, that we got all those wooden clubs and I got those irons? So, this is an 8-iron, obviously. Oh, and I found out this is 1971. I think somebody else said that, and there I went and looked it up. Sure enough, it is. And there it is. So this is a little gold, some red here. I think some red's supposed to be in here, some black, supposed to be black, and there underneath here is a fluid feel, and it's supposed to be red. Now, that's what this looks like, right? And I went in there, and it took me about a half of an hour, maybe a little bit less, and I turned that into something that looks like this. And I got a little bit of paint in there. It wasn't very good. I still have yet to clean it up a little bit, but I got all that crap off of there. And I wish you could get in there. Oh, there you go. See how those, this dude was he was a digger, right? 8s and 9s, man. The dude was a digger. And then what I did was, is I got into painting, and let's see if I can get it better this way. There we go. There we go. So I got some Wilson in there, leaving the gold there, a little red in both of these. I got to clean it up a little bit more. I got to wait for it to dry some more. There we go. So I got a 2 through a pitching wedge. 2 through a pitching wedge. So what's going to happen is I'm just going to clean these up to show how to clean up these clubs, and then I'm going to give them away. And that's just what we're going to do. And the reason being is they're not all original. They've got the dynamic gold, but this was not the original shaft that came in it. And this is a much newer shaft, to be honest with you. And then that ferrule, although looks original, is not. If you look and you see how it's red, chrome, and then red, well, in the original one, they were clear, red, and clear to give you that silver, red, and silver. So there's something to be said about it. And the grips are actually in really good shape for, what are they? They're lambkins. Oh, no, they're not. They're Golf Prides. Golf Pride mid-size. This the regular tour wraps from back in the day. So, the shafts in these things are probably 15 years old, maybe more, but we're going to clean them up and see what happens. All right. It was 39 for me last Sunday while we were playing. Sun out was very nice. Matt's used to that. All right. Oh, look, she's giving it away. I'm using pliers. Sometimes I do. John Lamb says, Charlie Bartholomew, nice round, cool temps. Hope you didn't have to wear too many layers. No doubt. Charlie's saying hello. Robin's talking to him all back. There's Al Burnett from the Space Coast. How are you, sir? Glad to see you made it. John, let's see. What's Charlie wear when it's 39 degrees out? 2 layers and a wool scarf. Layers didn't affect me too much, and winter gloves. Yes, winter gloves. Do you use those little hand warmer things that you can buy, that little packets that go on the hands? I think that might almost have to be a must have, I would think. Danny Johnson. Hello, Jim, Robin, and Jim. Like a spring day here in the northeast of Missouri. I think it's going to be like that, but wait for it. It's going to change. Missouri. There we go. My dog Rex, 70 on the patio, sweatshirt weather. Oh, give me a break. 70 is sweatshirt weather. Well, maybe. I could see that. You're probably wearing shorts. Sweatshirt and shorts. That's pretty good. All right, Mr. Dean Walker, how are you, sir? Thank you for watching again. Oh, Lorinda's watching. All right. Very cool. We got Dean, talking to Dean. JP Duncan, happy Monday, Jim and Robin. Same to you, sir. Glad to see you're on. Steve Bird, hello again. How are you, sir? You gave me some advice on arthritic grips and gloves. I purchased both, and I must say it's transformed my game. And I am on my way to regaining my single figure handicap. Thanks. Well, you're very welcome, sir. I'm glad it's working. Yeah, did you end up getting those bionic gloves? Those are something else for a guy that has an arthritis problem, and mine's coming. Mine is coming. I've inherited that from my family. Uh, I'm thinking about just getting a box of them now, so I can have them for later. But yeah, I'm glad they're working for you. And the slightly larger grips, so you don't have to grip down. I've already moved up. My hand fits a standard glove, a standard grip, and I still have grip pressure, and I still have the flexibility, as you can see. But I've been trying these mid-size grips on my current clubs, and I think I like them a little bit better. I think I do. Robin saying everybody hit that like and subscribe. Oh, speaking of that, tomorrow's the video is the remaining part of that golf ball testing. Now, if you saw what Bob and I did, and we tested the staff and the X ball, the staff X ball, it was quite a bit of a difference for Bob. For me, it was almost no difference. So I said, well, how can that possibly be? So I came back a little bit later, and I tested it on a wedge, the 6-iron, a hybrid, and a driver. And you can get to see what the differences are. But I got to say that models, the staff model, is going to be a deal. I really do think it's going to be a deal. Now, if you're a very strong golfer, high swing speed, you very well may like the X ball better. But for all the average golfers like me out there, I think the staff ball will be one welcome dude. I will tell you now, if you go out there, I don't know if it's published or not, but they told me that there is a promotion: buy two get one free. They come in white and they come in yellow. So there's your pro tip for the day. And if you can't find it, let us know and we'll have them ship them to you. All righty, Robin saying hello, hello, hello. John Lamb says, not too bad for layers, winter gloves. I've found that sometimes using winter or rain gloves, both hands, great control. Yep. Doesn't seem to last. Feel can be in a very well, Charlie. I think feel can be a very elusive thing at 30 degrees or 39 degrees, and you're out there walking around. But I think you show me you had a golf cart with a heater in it. Michael Moody says, hit that thumbs up, and I'd appreciate it. That is one cool glass, dude. One very cool glass. I'm gonna have to bring mine out. I've finally gotten through all the different glasses I picked up while we went on the bourbon trail. This is the last one. It's a Maker's Mark. Very nice. I got some Glencairns, but they don't hold enough. John Cherry, what do you say, sir? Hey, everybody, down in Jamaica right now on vacation. Well, there's a good one. Some guy's on vacation. Hey, let me watch Jim for a little bit. I'll catch up later. That is awesome. John, I play the same with two gloves that are rain gloves. There you go. She's jealous in Jamaica. Listen to her. You're right. Jamaica Mon. John Lamb. Matt Revlock. I use a gripper style cleat wrench. I had quite a few teeth set at an angle, and it does good to grip on very worn and needle nose pliers to get the cleat out. Yep, that's not too bad.
Jealous of Jamaica? You were there, weren't you?
I was.
Was the announcement of being pregnant, or was it I was pregnant?
I think you were. I was at Puerto Rico when you were pregnant, when you announced it.
Okay, so when you brought home the shirt that said I left my heart in San Francisco?
That was San Francisco.
Yeah, but you were coming around.
Yes.
And the Tijuana blanket.
The Tijuana blanket that you still like. Yeah. She's giving me hell, dude. You got to help me out here. 30 years ago, 34 years ago, and I'm still paying for it. Matt says, hi, McGolf World. All right, missing some stuff here, bouncing back and forth between you and YouTube, trying to download some tunes to day 3 to Tempe. Nice.
Travis just turned 38, so it's 38 years ago.
Yeah, 38 years ago, and I'm still paying for it. There we go. Worked a repair band at the Mitsubishi a couple weeks ago, which is always fun. Well, cool, dude. Glad to see that. They can always use the help. And what's a tour van, a repair van? It's not a tour van, is it? It's just somebody that's got a van that's touring the island? Because I'd find that really. Can you imagine somebody forking the expense over to take a van over there? That'd be impressive. John Alexio, what do you say, sir? That's a new name. Jumped on at a good time. I'm looking at a new putter and I really like the Odyssey lineup. I'm disappointed that you don't have too many options for the left-handed players. I am with you, sir. I am with you. Uh, I thought maybe I'd pulled a lefty out. I normally, because I am a lefty, and it should be this hand, I normally get a couple because I want to see the left-handed product. And you were right. They do not have, normally, you get the irons and all that stuff, and you get, it's left, right, it's all good. But these putters are not too bad. Oh, looky here. Mrs. McGolf is coming to the rescue, John. Voila. There we go. And this one's the white one. The white face still has the plastic on it. There you go. You can see the lines on the face. And in this one, the window for seeing the technology is right there. You see that looks like a stair step and a one right next to the Odyssey. What that is that's a curve to give it a little bit more hardness behind here and in order for it to zip out there. Honestly, this is one of my favorites. Uh, it's the double wide. If I was to pick one, this would probably be it. The double wide with the double bend and face balanced, slightly face balanced, I suppose. And it also has that stroke lamp. But this one for me, because I slightly open the face for myself, right? So when I pull back, I try to go straight back, but the face ends up doing this, and then I go straight forward. That's the reason why I like it. That's the reason why it fits me. Now, of course, I'm playing a lab putter, and it works famously. But if I'm going that way, that's what I'm looking at. John Lamb. Now I'm jealous. That's always a lot of fun and laughs, as well as a great learning experience. Yeah, it was. Well, Matt was my rep for his company. Uh, I was able to get on the rifle trailer a couple of times at the NEC in Firestone. Did it there, and then we were able to get on the. Although I didn't do a lot of work, I got on the LPGA one. They only have a singular one there. That was pretty cool. And then here in Columbus, they have the Children's Network, of which I get on the Callaway trailer right away. It's not a problem. But it's a different environment to be sure. And the things that are different, the things that are important to you in making a golf club may not be the same for them. Brody, Jim Robin, love the live stream. Those Odyssey putters look great. They do. I'm going to have to agree. I do like the blue. I like the blue over the silver. I like the blue over the light or the white. I just think that's the right color for them. That's a Callaway blue. Well, I guess a darker blue, and the white is a good contrast without going crazy. And with this whole AI thing that they've gotten going on, they've went really whole hog with this AI stuff, haven't they? And this one is their number one putter. This is the number one putter brand, and if for no other reason that it picks up the golf ball. It is a high OMI putter because of the fang, but I mean, who doesn't like a putter that picks up the golf ball easily? All right, Miss hope all is well. Miss McGough is keeping you in great food and drink. Oh, for certain, for certain. In fact, I don't know if any of you guys been to the Bourbon Trail. Where I'm trying to plan a return. We had a really good time down there, and I want to go see some more. I like the learning aspect of it. I mean, finding the stuff that you like, that's all part and parcel of the gig. But there are some very, very old, and the history of some of this stuff dates back into the 1800s. And it's just really cool to hear these mom and pop distillery type things that have been doing it since, great great granddad was doing it. And I'm like, that's so cool to listen to these guys talk about it. Matt, John Lamb, indeed. Uh, I picked up things by watching them practice and comparing different swings. Always nice to see some familiar faces and catch up. There you go. Agreed. Those little nuances, they seem to know are invaluable information. Lots of light bulbs that can go off and on during that time frame. You know what, John? And that's true. The when I was at the last one at the Columbus tournament, the Srixon guy, they had all the trailers that are there, all the manufacturer trailers are there, and the Srixon guy was probably most singularly the most helpful and probably one of the more, I would say, knowledgeable club guys. And it's been ages since I ever talked about offset on a wedge. And he says, "You remember the old style? They put offset in a wedge." I said, "Say what?" And he said, "Yeah. You ever been offset in a wedge?" I was like, "No, I can't say that I have." He brings me over there and just slams a Cleveland in there and starts bending on. I'm like, "Whoa, where you going with this, brother?" And pulled it way down, and then had another bending bar and put it way back up and bent this offset into it. And I'm like, "Well, look at that. So it can be done." And I was like, "Okay, that works." And now it can only be done on certain clubs, to be sure, right? Ones that are very soft. But he says, "Yeah, for some reason they really, really like the offset." Okay. And so now I've got two bending bars, so now I know how to do it. So if somebody comes in looking for it, that's a skill that I had picked up that I don't think a whole lot of people know how to do it. Miss McGolf saying hello to David and Scott, whoever they may be. Matt saying, "John, at this point in my golfing life, I really picked up from them is how they approach warm up and practice. And when I talk to them, I realize the golfers here are have all the same issues." Are you still trying to hit it out of your shoes, Matt? That's what I want to know. There we go. See, look at that. All right. I think I'm on the right side of the ball physically there, brother. There, swing it. Krister, what do you say, buddy? Snowy Sweden still, huh? -9. Yahoo! Wow. Yeah, I'm glad I'm here, buddy. So what was the thing last week? You were going to go talk to him about, what was it? Was it another Titleist club? You were going to go check out something. And I was really kind of anxious to hear what you'd found out, what you liked about it, and whether or not you were able to. Did you get that? Did you take that another lesson? And what was the idea of the lesson that they were going to give you? Because I've been watching, dude. Your swing has changed. It has changed. For those that know what you did before, it's actually quite a bit of a change. So hopefully it works out for you. Yeah, nipply side is what we would call it. Matt says, "My folks, when they were alive, lived in Seven Springs, Florida. Two great courses. Got to play with Jan Stevenson once. Lots of the old Nike Tour guys, yeah. Some pro caddies. Was very enlightening. Man, they got a whole different aspect on life, don't they?" Paul Best, love your channel. Well, thank you, Paul, for getting on there. If you got a question, don't be afraid to ask, man. There's Steven. What do you say, dude? Hey, guys, this weekend was great here in Tennessee, 84, 85, with too many doubles. Guess what happens when you haven't played in 4 weeks? And you would be absolutely correct. And that's what I'm kind of hoping is that with all this testing that I've been doing, when we get ready to go to our golf vacation, that we have that I'm not all that I don't have to get a foxtail in a pan and pick up all the rest that I'm leaving behind. So in the first week in March, my birthday week, we're going to be down in Gulf Shores, Alabama. We're revisiting, and we're going to go back and try and tackle some of those courses. So it ought to be a lot of fun. And and go try and eat enough fish and chips to see if I can grow gills and see what happens down there. Bill Nauman, wonder if anybody watched Live Golf yesterday. Negative. It was the only live golf on or live golf on TV. It went into overtime in the dark, although it was entertaining to watch. Well, I'm glad that you like it, Bill. I have yet to be enticed to watch them. I guess that's the easiest way to say it. I haven't been enticed to watch them yet. But that's what it is. Welcome, Paul, Robin says, and hit that like button if you haven't hit it. Krister, that's what I was asking, Charlie. What were the hits? Oh, here we go. No, I have some back problems after the demo events with the big brands. Uh-oh. I have demo events this Saturday with Titleist to see if I can get the spin up with that TSR2 driver. Okay. So, Krister, here's something to consider. Instead of trying to get the spin up, try a different golf ball. Okay? Try a different golf ball. Titleist makes a one heck of a golf ball. Number one, right? And they've got the X ball. They got the regular ball. They just dropped one. I have no idea what it is, but they just dropped it. You might want to consider that instead if you're getting everything that you like. But give a shot and see what. Maybe you find one that you like. John Lamb, P2 putter grips or grip boost putter grips. Any experience with either one? I like the flat-sided paddle style. Well, for a while there, John, we were P2 putter grip dealers. I don't have anything on the grip boost putter grips, so I'm not real certain about that one. The P2 putter grip was kind of cool in the fact that it was very narrow but very long and allowed the flat to stay in your hand. So when it kind of locked you in to swing back and forth. That was their claim to fame. Not bad, right? Now, while you're looking at putters, John, or putter grips, John, I would consider, and if you're going kind of outside the box, there's two others that I would consider going outside the box. Number one is the Garson grip. He makes several, but there is what he calls the Tour Quad. You might like that one, and it's a rubber grip, as a matter of fact. If you want one that's more synthetic, they do have one of those. Then they do have the one that Finau is using, which is a little bit more. It's a little bit wider and rounder, but a more utilitarian. The top, it goes round on the bottom, and then it curves out, and then it has a flat, and then two flat sides. It's a little different. Might look at that one. And then the other one, were the two thumbs. Look at the two thumbs. If you really like that flat, the two thumbs have that particular kind of grip, and you can turn it sideways. Right? You can turn it sideways. Look up two thumbs. You won't be disappointed in them either. Good groups. Yeah, more often than I care to admit, Charlie, it's getting bad. I'm thinking, I get on the iPad, and they're always telling me about do this exercise so that your brain, and it's all about finding word searches and stuff. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. But now I'm starting to think maybe I want to. Warren's Golf, and I do dig the idea of the dude in knickers. Good evening. Sounds like an easy winter there so far. I tell the wife the spikes are not removable and they have to buy new shoes. Now, you know what? There's a never came at it from that angle. That's a good one. Sorry, dear. The spikes won't come off. Need some new shoes. I like your thinking, buddy. That's what you call outside the shoe thinking right there, man. Good job. Charlie says, my back needs to be in good shape for the 24th of this month. I've booked a fitting for a new driver. I will game the TSR3, TSR2 with the AD DI7Xs. So the driver's left. Not bad, dude. Not bad at all. Nothing wrong with the DI either. That's a nice shaft. Chris McCarthy. I haven't seen that one. Good evening. Can you compare the Ping Alta CB Slate A's to KBS TGI iron. Okay, sure. So there's a couple of things here, Chris. The Ping Alta CB is exactly what it says. CB stands for counterbalance. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you take a shaft and it's basically the balance points moved up nearer the butt section. Why do we do that? Well, a couple of things. Number one, if you wanted to make the club longer and didn't want to have the swing weight go uncontrollably heavy, if you had a counterbalance shaft, it would make it feel normal. That's one. Jim's idea Jim's idea Jim's idea is that if you're have a, let's say, a quick tempo or a faster tempo, that the weight is in your hands, and when you bring it back, it's not so much what you feel out here as what you feel right here. And when you pull down, you're tracking your hands, not the club head. That's one idea. And that's pretty much. Now the other part, you could go the other way with it, but I don't see it working very well. Is that, if some will claim, well, you're a smoother swinger, it's a lighter club head, you'll swing faster. Well, weight's weight, but it will feel lighter in the club head for sure. But I don't necessarily subscribe to that one. Now the KBS TGI 80 is a little bit more. Uh, just exactly what it says. TGI stands for Tour Golf Iron. All right, and the Alta is nowhere close to the same profile. The Alta 85 is a much more. It's not like I've measured a bunch of them, but based on what Ping's done with Alta in the past, it is a much softer profile, where the TGI is a much more firmer profile, meaning the tip section is probably a little more firmer, the butt section a little more firmer than the Alta would be. Now, if you're looking to reshaft your Ping and get out of the Alta and get into these KBS, and you like the feel of the Altas, you might consider that you get in staying with the KBS product, the PGIs, for players golf iron. It's a little softer profile, a little easier to get up in the air. And honestly, for all the people that are under the bell curve, the PGI is a much, much better choice. So you can take that for what you think. Bet you're looking forward to that. Oh, I would imagine he is. Herman Olm. I haven't seen that name. It's raining like here in Los Angeles. Power outage for the last 12 hours. No fun. Well, dude, hopefully you're doing all right. Hopefully no landslides, because normally that's what comes next, right? My son lives out in San Jose, so I don't know if they're getting hammered like you guys are, but so I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. My son, who just turned 38, so that was a thing. So yeah, hopefully you guys are doing fine. My dog Rex, thumbs up, students. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Robin saying hello. She's saying hello again. Matt wants to know, where does he play in LA? I know where that's coming from. Krister saying, I do. I finally get to compare the drivers in the GC Quad. I like the new stuff from Callaway, Cobra, and TaylorMade. Oh, we'll see what happens. Man, we're going to be able to see some stuff, dude. We're going to get the Krister Swing It Golf review of these. That would be kind of nice. Paul Best, love the channel. My daughter's 13 years old and has a 75 mile an hour 7-iron swing, plays off a 19. She likes the recoil dart 65. Website says should be F3 at that speed. What are your thoughts? Well, Paul, here's the thing with at 75 mile an hour, I don't know why they would say that you need an F3. An F3 in their terms is a regular flex, and 75 is just not there. I don't know where they're coming up with that. The F2 is probably a much better choice. Now, the real trick here is when she's swinging now, 19, there's a lot of room for improvement. But if she is keeping the ball in play in a nice, consistent fashion, then then that would be the way to go, right? If she's spraying it everywhere, you got to check on one of two things: if she has the right length, and then quite possibly that flex could be off, and you might need to bump it up a little bit. Now, at 13 years old, I will also offer up that there are at 65. That's a pretty hefty weight, and at 13, unless she's very athletically talented, you might try and go just a hair lighter, right? Go a hair lighter. They have 40-gram shafts, and I just got introduced to the El Dio shaft from Mitsubishi. It's a lady shaft, and it's 40 grams. It's very, very nice. However, the I've got some that are 40 grams from Acra that would do just fine. And when you get into the, depending on so that'd be 85. She's pretty strong for a 13-year-old. Uh, she'd just be right at the ragged edge of a soft ladies flex and finding the right one. But very good. Glad she's having fun with it. As long as she's having fun, dude, that's the best part of it. Because then when they're having fun, they want to do better. Brookside, Griffin Park, Ranchero Park. Okay. Matt says he grew up on those courses. Wilson and Harding were my home courses. Look at you go, dude. Two leading edge of those old Wilsons look like diggers. Not only do they look like diggers, they are diggers. In fact, what is it? This, if I can get them so they won't fall. This one was such a digger, Charlie, that it's got a little bit of a bump on it. If I can get it, there we go. Oh, what am I doing? It's following me. See if I can get it away. But anyway, it's got a little bit of a ding right there. I'm thinking about getting rid of that for a moment, so we'll see. And yes, they are, buddy. They are button backs. And I didn't think I was ever going to hear that term for a while. Great Muni's large selection of courses. Yes. Matt, that's out somewhere where Tom played for a while too, wasn't it? I remember reading. I read his Captain Clubmaker book. I just can't remember the names of the courses, but it was out in that neck of the woods. All righty. Any word when the Dynaforge gets released? Now, Bowser. I mean, they gave it to me, and I had to check 3 times. The embargo was off, so. Oh, wait a minute. You're right. Never mind. Reverse. Uh, I'd have to ask, but I would have. No, we're in that time frame. The latest that they would release them would be February 1. That's the latest. Right now, they should be fine. You should be able to get them now. But they aren't on their website, I noticed. So maybe that's it. Maybe they're waiting until February 1. No, I'm not going to hang them on the wall, Charlie. I'm going to give them to somebody. Number one, they're right-handed, so they don't do me a damn thing. But it's just fun to play around with them, make them nice and presentable, and then maybe, you know, I'm kind of hoping that somebody has a story about how they played with their dad or something like that, or even that somebody older played them back in the day, and there's a really cool story that goes with them. Then, and if they thought, wow, if I only had a set of those or something like that, maybe they want to hang them on their wall. But yeah, they're super nice to be sure. But I really don't. My dad had some Dyna Powers, but they were older than these. I don't know if I still have them in my garage or not. That might be something to look up because I know he didn't change anything out of them. That might be something to look at too. Oh, he loves the squarish design of those old Wilson clubs. Looked way better back in the day. I knew you'd like those things, Krister. They are neat. And the funny part is when I let Bob hit them, and he just started smoking it down the middle. He's like, wow, I kind of like this. It's down the middle. And he was hitting them very, very well. And I said, well, hold on, just before you get too excited about going to a super heavy and this whole 9 yards, I said, let's turn on the launch monitor and see. And because the 9 iron, I think the if the normal club was around 30, this thing was 34. So it was yet a whole nother club weaker. And I mean, let's say we stop at the pitching wedge. I would imagine the pitching wedge in this set was probably about 52 degrees. So they're not very strong. So we had him hitting him. He was literally a club and a half short, and because it was supposed to be hitting him well, just not hitting him far. That's what we said. Dan, when going shorter with the driver's shaft, at what point does it make sense to look at a different shaft, i.e., cutting a 65X down 1 inch? Is it worth going to 65 or 75 gram stiff? Personally, Dan, the first inch I don't think is really worth it. Yes, if you do the swing weight calculations, it'll be 12 swing weight points less. But you're talking about going from a 45 and a half or almost 46 down to a 44 and a half, which is really what you probably need. What a lot of people probably need. Personally, I don't see that. Now, for you being the better player, you'd probably notice the weight difference. And you might want to, depending on if your driver has interchangeable weights or a slider weight, to look at adding another one or getting a heavier one before changing it out. Because you're already familiar with that particular golf club and you're looking to gain a little bit of feel, and no, you don't need to add in 10 more points. If you just got, if you went from an 8 gram to maybe a 12 gram, you probably get all you ever needed for as far as the feel. You'd be really impressed with the difference. Paul Best, what do you think? Fitting without club data is acceptable. GC3 club face and angle. All right, let's go. Do you think fitting without club data is acceptable? Not necessarily, no. Club path, but not face angle. Oh, that's a GC3. Okay. Well, path is an important thing, but so is face angle, right? Now, you can get, if you know the club head path, so if I was to give you, if this is club head path and this is face angle, and those two are, and they're just, look at this thing moving. Here we go. See if I can get it back. There we go. Let's just leave it centered like that. There we go. Okay, so uh anyway, if you were hitting them straight and you knew the club head path, that you would know that the club face angle would be very, very close to the path. So you could guesstimate it, but it's always better to know a little bit more. And you want to know a little bit more than that too, right? You want to know where they're hitting it on the face, where they're doing all these different things, and it's important to know that. And so you probably need a little bit more than just that. John, cleaned up and refinished my dad's old Rams. Yeah, nice. Gary Players, my Ping Day putter, mounted them on a large plaque, and they look good in the bar room. There you go, dude. Well, maybe I will have to take a look at that then, because these Wilsons are classics, dude. Very classic. Matt, I just found a tee time for LA Junior Open 1981. I led after day one and lost to Ken Tangawa and Bob May. Oh my gosh. Bob May. Have some of those hand warmer packets, but not have used any this season yet. Dude, Charlie, I would have thought maybe that would have been a good time for it. 39 degrees, 27 getting out of the car. Holy cow. Yeah. Kent's the man. If he goes out in winter shorts, I don't know what to say. Number one, either he is just too manly for the rest of us, or he's just a nutcase. But in either case, it's pretty damn good. And so says the guy. And so says the guy from Sweden. You ever take a dip in that cold water, Krister? All righty. And we're thinking, yep, Done. Thank you very much. Frank's watching us from Mississippi. Megan Schultz just picked up my. Very nice. Picked up my new Sun Mountain S130. Absolutely love it. Thank you. Megan, we fit her a while back, and then she went to college to play golf. And good, she's a good soul. And she's got a light blue. They called it Navy Surf. Charlie, there's no way on this planet I'm calling this light blue bag Navy Surf. So I changed it. It's now called Navy Smurf. And that's where we're going with it. What kind of spin rates were you getting with those Mizuno Pros and the 245? Actually not bad.
Navy Surf.
Yep, you got rid of it. Ha ha.
No.
There is no way.
Navy Surf.
Charlie, look at this. Now we're into a discussion right here. See if we can get there. I don't know if I can show it to you. See that thing right here? That's what they call Navy Surf. Get the hell out of here. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right. As far as spin rates, Frank, I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. For me, I tend to spin the ball just a tiny bit less.
But it's my color.
Yeah, it's your color for sure. Let's see if I can get this thing to go up, down. There we go. Look at that. Anyway, as far as spin rates go, Frank, I tend to, the golden rule was always like six iron, 6,000, 5 iron, 5,000, 7,000, 7,000, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's really hard to get that with the new modern lofts. And that's what we have right here, right? New modern lofts. So on a 6 iron, if I was to get 5,400, I'd consider that equivalent. And I was anywhere between 49 and 54. So I would say they were fine. Now, that was using the shaft that they provided with it, which I believe was the DG Mid, which, again, was a surprising shaft. Brad Walworth, what do you say, bud? Excited to try those staff balls out. Finally catching a live stream time for once. Well, you're more than welcome, sir. Tell everybody about us. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. We'll get some more folks on here. No heater in the push cart. Oh, wow. I thought you had a regular cart, not a push cart. Man, maybe you can dangle one of those heaters from the back and have it just keep you warm. Wow. Negative. That was from back in the day. Roosevelt Roads. There you go. Been there. I let's just say I celebrated Robin finding out I was going to be a dad there. And well, as the story goes, I shut down the enlisted club and we shut down the Chiefs club, and the next morning was just a slightly bit painful. There you go. Ah, okay. Gotcha, dude. Well done. Double wide is one of my favorites. It is one of mine too. Yeah. He spent a lot of time talking with Callaway Rep as he was always having us do stuff. We do a bunch of grips and shafts into adapters, which frankly is a lot easier than the old days. You are not wrong. Herman got the Jailbird Mini. I'm gifting myself for my birthday on February 26th. Well, happy birthday, sir. The Jailbird Mini can't be too bad, right? I think that's a nice little club. There you go. 26. You're catching up, buddy. You're catching up. I've always told Tom that picking up the ball was a mandatory design feature. No kidding. Welcome to the 60 gang. No kidding there, too. Tour Edge was there this year, and I think they are scaling way back with the senior tour. Really? That's too bad. They're really doing well with those guys. That changing loft, you'd need a really long hosel for that, no? Well, I would say, I'd have to agree, Matt. And if you look I think that's probably the only club you could probably pull it off of, because a lot of cases, if you look at the Cleveland club, it does have a fairly large hosel. And what you do is you get a regular bending bar, and then you get one of those smaller bending bars to get the rest of it going. Just so happens I've got that. Chris Fry. Well, there's my buddy. Chris Fry's been a pro around here forever. Well done. And you're at Pinnacle now. Well, for certain, I will have to make room for that, buddy. If you mind me bringing my drone, we'll take some pictures. Nicely done, sir. We'll have to give you a call. Did you make it down to the PGA show this year, or did you back off on it? Let us know. Chris is a good guy. And his daughter, is your daughter the golfer? I know she's getting there a couple years back. She was getting ready to go to that higher level of education. Loved golf and playing in Sweden. Have you ever played Falbet? No, not me.
She was a swimmer.
A swimmer. Okay.
Kevin Schultz.
That's what it was. I was to Copa Denver last test. I got fit into a 9-degree LS. 40X 10 is a Cali demo fit. 10.5 with a Denali 65S. Well, see, that's the difference in so the Link has got the Link's got a different profile, Krister, than the Denali. That's probably the reason why. Now, the other part of that is, which is really not too bad, is the Cobra doesn't have as big a they really don't have the same insertion depth, just like we were talking. So not too bad. And the other thing I was talking about is that with the guys from Acra, that they're coming out with a couple of new lines, right? Instead of the FX, it's now going to be the GX, and they also have a Shogun coming out, and the Shogun in the 40X is what's being all the rage on the long drive tour. At least that's what they're saying. So these guys are getting not X, the 40 gram club. So it's not an X. It's probably closer to an R. And these guys are walking around, and they're all depending on timing in order to get the maximum out of that club. That is something else. All right. Chris, use that softer shaft. AVX. Yeah, that's what oh, that's that new one, you Herman. Okay. Thank you. Ah, okay. He's tossed her scepter shafts, but they are too wild. I don't have any control. Okay. Rodney Shelby, quick question. You're 6 foot tall. Very cool. Oh, 6'4". Okay. My irons are 3/4 over standard length, standard lie, but the angle plays a little more upright due to the longer length. Oh, I gotta play this one. No, it's the other way around. All right, so if you're 3/4 over and you have a standard length that you were to actually use the standard length, that you would be flatter by a little bit. So if you're finding yourself hitting out onto the toe, or you're digging the toe, or it's going off to the right, maybe a lie angle would be required. Hope I got that right. This is the question that's always beat me. It's always beat me in a test. So the question is if I have this golf club and I make it an inch longer, what happens? Well, to me, what happens is and you're the same. You sit at the same spot, same everything. You're 6 foot guy, and you just made the club a little bit longer. So what happens? Well, it has to go like this, and the club goes upright. Now, if you get shorter, if you get shorter, it has to go the other way, and you have to go more upright to get it to that same spot. And if you get shorter and you use the same club, the same thing happens. And if you get taller and you use the same length, it turns to suck inside. So it depends on how you're swinging that particular club. Just getting back into played with Matt Graboe when he was out here. Oh, okay, cool. I saw that he was out there. Then had surgery. It took me out for 4 months. Oh my. Hopefully you're doing better, buddy. There we go. Brad Walworth. Tour Quad is a great grip. I've used P2 grip, preferred the quad. There you go. If you're going to Gulf Shores, play Perdido Bay or Rock Creek. Well, I think we're looking at Perdido Bay. I've not seen Rock Creek yet. We had the Peninsula, Kiva Dunes, the couple of the, what do they call them, the creek golf courses, not Camp Creek, but they're something creek, the Ulner Palmer course. Perdido Bay, there was another one that was in there that had a whole bunch of wildlife in it, like snakes. We were talking about going a little further north to something Glens. They were going up north there, and then there was another one that was about an hour away. Looked really nice. It was just an hour away, and I'm not sure about that. My own fitter did have the 9-degree driver, so that's why okay. 6'3" and using standard length shafts. Yeah, so at 6'3", Michael, that's kind of the new breaking point because at 6'3", your arms get a little bit longer, right? And it also depends on how you address the ball. But, when they say 6 foot, 6 foot to 6'2" is almost standard. 6'3", you're right on that cusp. It could go either way. Some folks have longer arms. Some folks have shorter arms. Okay, my dog Rex says Liv was a great watch. Neiman held off Garcia and Rahm even with 2-stroke penalty. Okay. For some reason, I hit more outside the toe with a Titleist than I did with a TaylorMade, the Cobra. Might have been could have been the way a less stiffer shaft. Played the North Course, which was sweet, and a couple others. I can't remember. We had a really good customer friend in Sweden. There's always that possibility. Oh, I've got permission now. That's official, Chris. I've got permission. It's not no different. Yeah, that's another one too, bud. Yes, we will. The TM was 47. Oh, okay. Huh. Not too far. I don't see the 1/4 of an inch making that big of an impact. There it is. Oh, man. Now she's getting me good on a Sunday. There we go. Now we're talking golf stuff. TaylorMade is like a 54-degree lie angle Cobra 55, and it's similar to Cobra there. That could be a part of it. Give me advance notice. Have fun on your vacation. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So shaft droop is a relative to the force, yes, and the CG of the head. If all else is the same, then that isn't it. If the shafts are different, regardless of flex, the profile can make one droop more than another, i.e. the profile is different. There you go. Well done. All right. Very cool. Rodney Shelby just got the new Cleveland irons with the dynamic gold mid-15s. These irons are fun to hit. You're talking about these XL irons. They're far too easy to hit, man. I did that testing on those things. Far too easy to hit. It's a good choice. Yeah, no doubt, right? Kill him, man. Kill him dead. As long as you don't mind spending 6 hours on the golf course, Tom was in Northern. Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks for the advice, Jim. You are more than welcome, Mr. Paul Best. Oh, my gosh. Bournemouth, UK. Nicely done, sir. Thank you. Marion Valley with the Steve Miller van. Well, you did. I seen you golf, man. If you didn't green the lead, you'd have to have arms the size of Popeye. Ah, okay. Got it. I agree, Krister. I agree. Ready, show me, get a live board and throw some tape on the bottom of that and see what you're going through. There you go. Here's a new name. Mike Delvesco. Not a new name for the day. Don't most players who use overlength clubs have them bent to 2 to 3 degrees upright? I would say in some cases, Mike. I mean, why wouldn't you? In order to make everything the same. But it also depends on your path and the way you deliver the club to the ball. Richard Tan. Here's another one. The TXG Club Champion channel did a test with soft step and hard step irons, and they didn't find a difference. What are your thoughts on hard step and stop steps? Is it more of a feel? Well, I think maybe for them it might have been they probably didn't see too much because Ian is a really, really good golfer. Okay. He is a really, really good golfer and could make adjustments to compensate for the way that the club works. When you soft step and you're doing things, you're just doing minor tweaks. Now, are you going to see, if you go from one to the other, you're only changing it, worst case scenario, a third of a flex. Everything else is the same, right? And so it does become a feel thing, maybe a little softer, maybe that hint of extra kick. I'm not talking like you're going to go from 15 to 20 yards in the air or anything like that. It's just that little bit less and that little bit of consistency. What from a feel perspective, that's fine. What I would look at is you got to take, because at that point you're really splitting hairs. And what you would do is, what were the patterns like when they dropped? Cincy Colt fan wants to know if I ever played Spud Run, and I have to say no, I have not. All right, you tell me that you're looking for in around Gulf Shores, and I'll have you in the right direction. There are a lot of courses that I have played numerous times. All righty. Mr. Shelby says Cleveland XL, they're very easy to hit. Yeah, I'm here to tell you, brother, those things were easy peasy to hit. And it was just almost stupid easy between that one and that Halo club of theirs. I have not. I've not played Spud Run. I didn't even know it existed. Talking to Brett Carino. How you doing, buddy? And the last one, built a set for a 6'6" kid, plus 1.5, 3 degrees upright, long legs. We're all built different. Goal is to put him in a good address position. There you go. That is the right answer. All right, guys, made it to the end and went extra 30 minutes as typically usual for this place. I was kind of hoping Scott would be on there to tell me whether or not those guys at Cincinnati wanted me to come show up for them. All righty, guys. So here we are. Watch out for that video on Tuesday. We're talking about a golf ball comparison. And keep in mind, it's just the way I swing versus the way you swing. You may like them better. You may not. But certainly I would give them a look-see, and you'll get to see there is a significant difference between the two at the end. As usual, thank you guys a lot for watching. I appreciate it from all over the world yet again. And as always, we'll see you next Monday, and let's see your scores go low.